Hi Green Thumbs, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be an in-depth discussion about earthworm castings and the benefits that it has on our houseplants. So this is part 3 of my soil series. In other videos I compared perlite and we also did a comparison of orchid bark. I'll attach these above if you'd like to go check them out after this video. When I did the orchid bark comparison video, one of the viewers reached out to me and asked me to do a video on earthworm castings because I talk about them all the time in my videos. I knew that they were good and I'm a big supporter of earthworm castings, but honestly I never really understood what the exact benefits were. So when the viewer reached out to me and asked me to do it, I thought what a great opportunity to do a lot of research and figure out exactly why earthworm castings benefit us. So I've got my notes here in front of me. Where applicable, I will attach down in my description box links to the different articles as well as the videos that I've viewed so that you can check them out on your time also. So earthworm castings are just a nicer way of saying earthworm poop. When I began my research, the first thing that I wanted to understand was how an earthworm eats. It turns out that earthworms have tiny little mouths. They don't have teeth, but they have mouths, and they kind of gum the organic material that they are consuming. So they pull that into their gizzard, and their gizzard as well as tiny little pieces of sand help to break down the organic matter into something that they can ingest. Once it passes through their digestive system, and it comes out the other end, what you're left with are earthworm castings, which is what we use in our soils. I watched a video by Pioneering Calm. I will attach that down below in my description box. It's really just an earthworm eating in the wild, so if you're curious as to how that actually happens, please feel free to check out that video and give. Earthworm castings are also referred to as vermicompost. They provide aeration, drainage, and moisture holding capacities within our soil, as well as providing excellent nutrients for our plants to uptake. The first article I want to call out was an article I found online written by Pennington. Earthworm castings anchor nutrients, helping to prevent them from washing away during our watering. So what happens when you use a man-made fertilizer like Miracle-Gro? You get a burst of nutrients at the very beginning, which if you don't measure it right, or maybe your plant is a little more delicate, you could actually do more harm than good. You could burn the root system, and then what happens after that is as you water, you just flush away those nutrients that you fertilized with because you don't give the soil enough time to absorb. They don't attach themselves as readily as earthworm castings do. So in this article I read, earthworm castings also help to curb certain diseases such as root and crown rot, and it also aids in deterring some pests such as aphids, mites, and mealybugs, and that's always good for us to hear. I read another article online by NC State Extension. What this article said, that there was research done in 1980 by Edwards and Burroughs. They compared animal, vegetable, and industrial waste on various plants such as shrubs, vegetables, and bedding plants. They compared the nutrient content of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and manganese. Manganese. Can't say that word right. What they found is that earthworm castings resulted in a much higher content of nutrients versus both animal byproduct, so maybe horse manure, goat manure, sheep manure, and also industrial fertilizer. So compared against those three, earthworm castings had the highest percentage of nutrient content. They also found that when the organic matter, such as lettuce or leaves in the wild or twigs or whatever it is that an earthworm eats, they found that the nutrients are more easily accessed by the plants. So we're going to pause here for a minute. When I read these different elements, I wondered how it affected our plants and what the purpose of all them was. So I wrote those all down for us also. The primary elements when we buy fertilizer. So oftentimes you will see an NPK, or I can show you here on this bag a little later. It says 1.20-0. What that means are the three essential elements for our plants. Nitrogen, signified by the letter N on the periodic table, is essential as it serves as a building block molecule for chlorophyll, which helps to promote photosynthesis. Phosphorus, signified by the letter P on the periodic table, supports energy transfer, promoting root growth, flowering, and setting seed. Potassium, the letter K on the periodic table, helps to regulate the opening and closing of the stomata, which essentially regulates the CO2 uptake. Other nutrients that are provided by earthworm castings include calcium, which helps to maintain the chemical balance and reduce soil salinity. Manganese, which helps to contribute to biological systems, photosynthesis, respiration, and nitrogen assimilation. It also helps with pollen germination, root cell elongation, and resistance to root pathogens or disease. Magnesium, which is the least provided nutrient in earthworm castings, helps to maintain chlorophyll production. Earthworm castings are more alkaline in nature, which means that it sits right around the 7 on the pH scale. In order to help get it to a more acidic level, which is where our plants prefer their soil to be, it is recommended to use earthworm castings in conjunction with a peat moss. That helps to bring the soil level back down to a 6, which is where plants are happiest, most plants. So as far as how long do earthworm casting as a fertilizer last within our soils? One article that I read said that the typical potting mix, so without any orchid bark or any other organic additives added, a typical potting mix has nutrients that are available for 2 to 5 days. I thought that was pretty low. I didn't know that the plant would go through the nutrients that fast. When you use earthworm castings, you extend that by 5 to 6 times. So you're looking from 12 to 30 days that your earthworm castings will work within your soil. Earthworm castings are readily available, so as soon as you mix them into your soil, or you top dress, or you use an earthworm casting tea, that fertilizer within there will be immediately available for your plant. But it also is sustainable longer, is what that means. So there are 3 different ways that we can use earthworm castings, at least that I'm aware of. You can chop dress your soil with it, so you can use a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch and just layer it right on top, and then as you water your plants, that will slowly release the nutrients into your soil for you. You can also make an earthworm castings tea, and essentially the recipe for that is 2 cups of castings to 5 gallons of water, or you can scale that back to how it suits your needs. And then you want to let it sit overnight and then go ahead and water your plants with that. What I do most often is I just mix it right into my soil mixes. For that, it is recommended that a 6-inch pot gets a 1/4 cup of castings. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave me a comment below. Let me know, are you currently using earthworm castings? Are you going to start using earthworm castings? I have found them to be very beneficial in the growth of my plants inside. I will continue to do it, and I actually might start dabbling in making earthworm castings tea. I think that would be something neat to experiment with. Thanks for watching today's video, Green Thumbs. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time, and have a great day.